actually getting AI implemented in a manner that actually makes a difference on the ground, that always is a little slow to catch up when all of these processes and programs are being set up.
You touched a topic that it is, let's say, close to my heart, that it is the artificial intelligence.
One major concern that everybody is looking to alleviate and work on is accuracy and reliability of any AI system.
That's super powerful. When you see the impact on patients also, that's also highly rewarding.
All the models that are being done, I think it's going to be a game-changing, and this is a very exciting time to be in the pharma industry.
Thank you very much, Dr. Umer Khan, for accepting the invitation for this interview. It's always a pleasure to look at your post, look at your LinkedIn content, and so thank you for this opportunity to speak directly with you and ask you a few questions. Thank you very much.
Manuel, it's my pleasure, and I'm glad to be talking to you. And we've been communicating endlessly on over on LinkedIn, but I'm having the pleasure to talk to you in person. This is great. I mean, virtually at least, but this is excellent. Thanks for having me.
Maybe next time we will have it face to face. Looking forward to it.
Possibly on my next trip to Europe and Italy. Definitely, yes. And you're more than welcome to come here to the US, New York, and the Pennsylvania area.
Thank you very much. So, Umer, I was thinking about, let's say, our network, our audience on LinkedIn. You know, we are both working into the healthcare sector. I am part of the pharmaceutical industry. And one thing maybe that we could start is if you can tell us a little bit about your background, your specialty, and more in deep, let's say, related to your expertise into the digital health. So how do you apply technology and so on?
Yes, sure, Manuel, and thanks again for having me. So I am an internal medicine physician, that's per training, and I'm primarily have been practicing as a hospital medicine physician. Basically, that means that I specialize in managing acutely ill patients and individuals that are admitted to the hospital. So my journey into the world of healthcare technology actually stemmed from my own experiences when I actually started to practice back in 2014. And I saw that my patients were coming in, they were sick due to common reasons. For example, they will forget to take their medication for their blood pressure. And, it comes a stage where you need to take medication to keep yourself healthy and even alive. And their blood pressure will be through the roof. They will be coming with strokes, heart attacks, and things of that nature. And diabetes will be uncontrolled. So I said this is a real problem. And I've been involved in quality improvement initiatives in my past and in my training. So I first made a medication list and reminder application. I said, okay, this seems to be one of the biggest problems back then. And that was me trying to see how I could help out in this situation. So technology, of course, has fascinated me since the beginning, and I've been into tech in a way that I would use things, smartphones, before my colleagues or my friends would use to as I was growing up. My journey started from this medication list and reminder application. Then I went into developing telemedicine systems. We had numerous partners, different parts of the world. Also developed AI programs. This is much before all the AI that's happening right now. We developed a colonoscopy suite, skin detection lesion processes and applications. Also set up COVID-19 monitoring units. So this sort of got me into healthcare. I've had the opportunity to meet and work with exceptional individuals who are looking to change the game and improve patient outcomes, because of course that is what drives us all in this field. But yeah, that sort of is a bit of a background how I got as a clinician into tech and what I've been doing over the past couple of years. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing it. That's really, really interesting. And you touched a topic that it is, let's say, close to my heart, that it is the artificial intelligence. And if possible, I would like to ask, in your daily practice, in your, let's say, journey as a physician and also as a digital and tech expert, how AI has impacted on your daily duties. So how AI somehow changed your life, if it changed, and if you can tell us a little bit more about the AI specifically.
So yeah, that's a very good question. And we've been talking a lot about AI, but how has it actually affected our work right now? And just to say it out there that we are in a flux situation right now. And although I do believe that AI in healthcare is incredibly promising, not based on what I've sort of done in the past or some projects that we are working on right now. However, actually getting AI implemented in a manner that actually makes a difference on the ground, that always is a little slow to catch up when all of these processes and programs are being set up. However, just to share a few that I've worked with that has affected my day-to-day, let's say, practice in the hospital. One is, for example, EKGs, electrocardiogram. Now they are being read by a system and that has been trained, although not the best, and a good clinician actually never looks at that looks at those readings as much, maybe for calculating certain values on the EKG. However, to really interpret the EKG based on what the patient is experiencing, we don't look at the AI reads as such. Then, for example, echocardiogram, the ultrasounds for the heart. People don't know this, but a lot of measurements that a cardiologist or a physician looks at in those readings and reports, they are all AI generated. It will take a cardiologist or anybody else a long time to actually measure all those measurements and bring it for clinical use. Then what I've worked on in the past as well is sepsis alerts. So sepsis is a condition where you have an infection and it could become really deadly very soon. And if it is not picked up early enough and treated appropriately with the fluids and the antibiotics and everything else that needs to go in this management, if this is not picked up early enough in the hospital, the outcomes and mortalities can be extreme, and you need to prevent this. And this is one of the measurements by which a lot of hospitals are actually judged on. Sepsis alerts has been an actual use of AI, although I do believe most places don't do it really, really well, and there's loads of room for improvement in this because this is something that needs to improve further. Then, similar to this, there are warning systems and scores that assess that, okay, this patient is sicker, and we need to pay more attention to this individual. For example, the Muse score, the modified early warning score. So this has how you judge whether the patient is sick, and maybe we need to move the patient to a higher level of care, perhaps, and provide better care for the patient. Like I mentioned, definitely numerous modalities are coming in. And for example, when I set up the COVID-19 monitoring unit, we had it set up that the doctors and the nursing staff won't get alerts every 2 seconds. Those alerts will need to be meaningful. They need to have a certain degree of assessment by the software that, okay, let's not bother the clinician, the nurse, with every single variable or finding or oxygen level or heart rate that may not be actually a thing to be alerted about. So these things, of course, all need to have utility that is real. We have to, of course, take into consideration that AI has a lot of potential. We may not see it as much right now in actual clinical practice, but loads and loads of things are coming into the picture, and we're going to see it very, 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 very soon. Yes.
Absolutely, that's super powerful, let's say, and when you see the impact on patients, also that's also highly rewarding. While you were speaking, I was thinking about another question that I had in mind. So, if you were about to give a suggestion, let's say, to a colleague of you, let's imagine a doctor in an hospital that would like to introduce AI solution in his or her daily practice and so on. For sure, this person, I think, is going to find somehow some resistance or some challenges also to deal with. And what would be, let's say, in your opinion, in your experiences, the challenges that a physician is going to encounter in adopting new AI solution, and what would be your recommendation to overcome the challenges to the adoption of AI?
Great. So definitely, I think one, there is a generational divide, and we do see that maybe one of the older physicians may have a little bit more difficulty getting used to it versus the younger folks. However, said that, medicine is the same, and I've seen that every single year there is a new software being introduced, and whether you're young and old, you're able to aptly use it. So that's not a problem. However, one major concern that everybody is looking to alleviate and work on is accuracy and reliability of any AI system. And of course, they can be only as good as the data that is fed into them. And there's always a risk for bias in this data that can lead to skewed outcomes. So these are some challenges. Another challenge is the learning curve associated with some of these new technologies and how to actually fit this into your medical flow. It requires time, it may require a little bit of education, but of course, the major concern that happens is that AI supports and does provide discernible value, that it is saving time, it is saving money, and of course, it is improving patient outcomes. And then it also actually enhances your human element in healthcare. That is fairly important. So we need to balance technological advancement with compassionate patient care. And one thing I would suggest my colleagues in this is, for example, the way I am currently using ChatGPT or similar or Bard or Google for this matter is, for example, there's a skin lesion that comes in. Anybody, a human AI, is able to detect in lesions that are very typical. However, when it comes to something that is very obscure, that you may suggest that, okay, hey, you may need a biopsy or something similar, or you definitely more in-depth investigations to figure that lesion out. What I've been using it for at this purpose is, okay, hey, this is the lesion. Can you give me a differential? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I should think about these.
That's powerful.
This line a little bit more. So since I don't want to miss anything, hey, can you give me a list of potential tests that I may be doing? Then I pick and choose and select based on my understanding of what the patient needs. And instead of maybe going for some other source or opening up my dermatology textbook or going online to a portal, quickly I do this at bedside, and the things are fairly quick and fairly straightforward. The other thing that people can do is you have a procedure. You conducted a procedure, and you can give it, hey, this is the procedure. For example, this is a central line insertion, but put in a caveat of, okay, it took us 2 tries, however, no bleeding, positioning was fine, and you add that into your prompt that you're giving it ChatGPT, and it will give you a very solid, quick procedure note, and you can plug that in, making sure, of course, it did it properly and inserted your caveats that you put into the procedure, or an NG tube or whatever. I mean, I don't do large surgeries, minimally invasive and procedures at bedside, but so this has helped me, and this can help anyone. It could save me probably 3-4 minutes of time doing a dictation for these procedure notes, while I'm just able to do this quickly through AI means. So yeah, definitely there are so many ways, and people should be looking to apply this, and more utilities will be coming into the picture, and hopefully, I hope very soon, and tested. One thing I want to suggest is that people talk about that accuracy and real results. However, it could be that data is only useful for one hospital. Now, a different hospital with a different medical setting, with a different patient population, with different services within the hospital, that AI that was validated someplace else may not be useful in this hospital. It could be a tertiary center, may be different from a rural area medical center, or an outreach hospital, or a hospital that's that is not as well staffed, does not have the right services. So there has to be a lot of adjustment, a lot of tailoring, at least initially. But I'm sure there are ways to do this more efficiently. However, one place where AI has worked does not mean it will work in the hospital right next door. So I just want to throw that out there. That is also one of the challenges in implementing AI. It will have to be, initially at least, a tailored approach.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, I think there are, while you were speaking, there are many functionalities of ChatGPT, for example, to share the prompts, to share the learnings, and so on. That could be a new way, let's say, also to exchange expertise. So that's super powerful, you know. So absolutely, and thank you very much. I have another question. You know, we have been interacting on LinkedIn for a while, and it was a pleasure. You know, I come from the pharmaceutical industry, so of course there is it is a player into the, let's say, healthcare environment that it is surrounding and the patient, and with the ultimate goal of helping the patient as a final goal for everybody. But of course, pharma companies are also helping physicians, are supporting physicians into their daily battle, daily fights, and so on. And when it comes to the AI, I was thinking about the fact that, of course, pharma company can do much more than they did in the past with this tool, with AI. So the question that I have for you is thinking about the AI solution that pharmaceutical company can bring on the table to offer to the physician. Have you experienced it? Have you seen some great use cases, or you have some example, or maybe you haven't seen yet some use cases, but there are something that you think that for an healthcare provider can be of help to be received from pharma company. So how do you see this partnership, first of all, and how do you think AI can help pharma company to better support healthcare provider and ultimately the patients?
Definitely, that is an excellent question. And first of all, shout out to all of my pharmacist colleagues and friends and people all over the world who are in the pharma industry, because you guys make and break and bring therapies that we end up using. So if you don't bring up the therapies, then we may not have those therapeutics up to offer patients. So definitely kudos to all the people in pharma. And exactly, and of course, it's a collaborative work, and I love talking to my pharma guys in the hospital, because they can be a source of great support when you need to make decisions regarding patient care. Definitely, pharma companies have a crucial role in empowering us as clinicians or healthcare in general. First, we need to, of course, invest in tools that are useful. They actually meet healthcare needs based on real on-the-ground problems that clinicians and patients are facing. And of course, this does require close collaboration with physicians and healthcare workers who understand the challenges that are faced by the patient as well as the whole workforce. So just to say it out there, and of course, it is huge what has been happening for the last couple of years in drug discovery. Now, testing, validation, structures that would take years are being done within minutes, especially in drug discovery. And this is a huge field that I haven't personally worked on, but I know that is going to be changing, and we're going to have new therapeutics that are going to be more tailored, fewer side effects, and better outcomes, and clinical trials that are going to be more efficient, work more appropriately, and produce better results. And the cost for the pharma industry to actually bring out a drug into actual use is going to be reduced. The time's going to be reduced, the cost is going to be reduced, and it's going to be definitely game changing. So that is, maybe a longer term perspective. However, immediately what the pharma industry can work with the digital health industry, for example, would be medication selection. Are there certain interactions, or are there, for example, in healthcare, we always look to convert one form of medication to another, for example, IV to PO or oral drugs, and describing to the doctor or the clinician that, hey, okay, just use this dose. The doctor will do this quickly without having to calculate anything by going on an online calculator. Then, for example, this issues that we face in the hospital is certain medications need dosing and adjustments. For example, vancomycin, perhaps digoxin, lithium, perhaps, that I believe can be managed very easily by simple ML machine learning algorithms in the hospital, as well as in the clinic locations. Another aspect that may not be as technical, however, educating the patient on the medication that they have been prescribed. And this is a common issue that a lot of hospitals face, that when the patient is, for example, being discharged from the hospital and to be sent back home, there may be some changes in medication. And a lot of times patients may not fully appreciate or have understood what the doctor or the nurse explained to the patient regarding, okay, you have been put on these medication, and these medications have this use and this side effect perhaps, so watch out for all of this. So I'm thinking an easy chatbot can be made with natural language processing that will communicate with the patient to explain to the patient about all the medications that they're going home on, and so they have an informed understanding of what medication does, what it is used for, how frequently it is going to be used, and any potential side effects they should be looking at. Then, right now, this is all low-hanging fruit that I'm talking about, just really low-hanging fruit that can be easily done with my bit of understanding with ML and all algorithms, designing chemotherapy regimens. And all of this has been done in certain fashion, but definitely not to the point that it's being applied in a much more useful manner. So designing chemotherapy regimens is huge and quick. And instead of the oncologists have to open up every single time to a chart, okay, this is a chart, okay, you should do this, your stage this, let's give you this regimen. This is, again, a very low-hanging fruit. Medication adherence tools, those are great. And as I mentioned, I started my healthcare tech journey from medication reminder application. So adherence tools. Second, pharma companies from this standpoint can see with medication adherence tools what is preventing the patient from actually adhering. Is there a side effect happening? So pharma industry is always looking to catch side effects before they become a big problem. And this could be a huge way to actually obtain side effects, and by assessing how the patient is actually doing. Is the patient taking it? Did the patient give me an issue? No, I took this medication last time, and I developed this rash, but I still took it, but it's not working out, or I had stomach upset with this. I don't know what to do. And then you can analyze, okay, did the patient take it properly? Was it before meal, after the meal, taken with milk? However, all these situations can be catered for. And then I'm sure a couple of companies, if I remember correctly, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Novartis, GlaxoSmithKline, Eli Lilly, they're all working on insulin dosing that does not maybe require the patient to make adjustment themselves. Then I think a lot of thought is being put into cancer side effects, and that can be mitigated. Then again, pharma industry is looking to develop not just drugs, but vaccines that you may quickly and easily figure out whether these vaccines are going to be good or not, or all the models that are being done. I think it's going to be a game-changing, and this is a very exciting time to be in the pharma industry with everything, and especially with drug discovery, vaccine discovery, and development. So yeah, huge needs are there within healthcare that I can't even begin to start talking about. I think the pharma industry and physicians clinicians, nursing staff need to come together and see, hey, what are the bigger problems that we are facing, and what is the low-hanging fruit that may get you in the door with some of these things, and that will have a real change and effect on how medicine is practiced and how it will improve patient outcomes. So yeah, that's a great question, and I could talk endlessly about the issues in healthcare that need to be fixed. So, but yes, thanks for asking this question again. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Umer, for your answer, because it was very, very insightful. So from you mentioned a couple of things that really resonates. The thing of the low hanging fruit. I think that's very important, because I can tell you from a let's say a digital innovation management perspective, that my role into the pharma company, having somehow rewards from the very beginning with a quick win at the beginning is also great for the adoption, because it motivates somehow the company, the organization, to embrace the innovation. So that's something that really sounds very, very good to my ears as a digital innovation manager. And this was my last question, but I just want to say a big thanks to you. I will keep following everyday content that you post. You are posting very interesting and insightful thing, and so thank you very much again, and looking forward to meet you face to face.
Definitely, Manuel, and actually it is my pleasure. And by talking to you and listening to people from different parts of the healthcare spectra, you definitely opened your eyes about what's happening, and I'd love to follow you on LinkedIn as well. And I'm glad we were able to finally talk in person instead of via messaging back and forth. Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.